Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in today. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Hadassah. I've been a part of Heart to Heart Counseling Center since before I was born, but that's a story for another day. Today, I wanted to take some time to share a miraculous testimony with you from a friend of mine. After trying many different types of treatment and professional help for anxiety, trauma, and PTSD, she was exhausted until she recently stumbled upon information about how to heal her brain. Through this brain balancing technology, she finally was able to get real and almost instantaneous help, and we want to share with you how you can do the same. Before I introduce you to our guest today, I'm going to share a short clip that gives you a background on this technology and how it works. We'll share it now and then be right back.
We live in a stressful world, and it's easy to become overwhelmed with our constant exposure to daily stress, lack of sleep, financial pressures, our relationships, workload. It all adds up. And sometimes we need a little help to restore balance. Our brains are an amazingly complex and capable part of our bodies. The two hemispheres of our brain constantly communicate, keeping us balanced, healthy, energetic, and at our best. But in the face of traumatic events or overwhelming stress, our brain goes into survival mode and sometimes gets stuck there, out of balance. A left side brain imbalance weighs us down, slowing our brain's response, a freeze state. We feel numb. A right side brain imbalance stimulates us to fight or run from a stressful situation, a state of anxiety known as fight or flight response. We're constantly on edge. Our brain's natural healing abilities need help to recover from these conditions, a chance to relax, rebalance, and reset itself. The Cereset experience does exactly that, helping your brain to restore its rhythm and balance naturally so it can manage stress more effectively. Cereset is proven technology that's safe, non-invasive, and highly effective. First, 4 high-resolution brain frequency sensors precisely record your real-time brain rhythms. Second, our proprietary algorithms convert your brain rhythms to specific engineered tones to create your unique brain echo, allowing you to hear your own brain echo in real time. And your brain recognizes itself and responds. As the brain hears itself, it realizes what's stuck and self-corrects, relaxing and resetting to its natural balanced state. That's how Cereset helps your brain free itself from frozen and fight-or-flight states, enabling you to achieve the highest levels of well-being and balance throughout your life. Cereset. We help your brain help you.
Welcome back. I'm excited to introduce my friend and our guest for the day, Tammy. Tammy, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we're so excited. So I really wanted to kind of dive deep into this, and why don't you just share a little bit about how you even came to learn about Cereset?
How I came to learn about it, I had just about exhausted all of my energy and everything. And my therapist and doing EMDR as well.
Wow.
And it's just not working.
Yeah.
And so with my therapist, she recommended, she had stumbled upon Cereset, just kind of almost just searching for anything for me. And so I wanted to dive into anything that would give me help.
Yeah.
And that was a major difference.
So what were you kind of wanting help for?
I have multiple sclerosis, so therefore all of my lesions are in the brain and not in the spine. So therefore I suffer from panic and anxiety and PTSD from childhood and betrayal trauma.
So so you called us, you got set up. What was your experience, what you got when you got here? What was that like?
Immediately I felt a sense of safeness. I mean, when I walked in the door. The first day that we arrived, I was very nervous, of course. I had never felt so much, I was so tired after the first one.
Yeah.
And not being able to sleep is one of the biggest things that I've had a challenge with. And leaving there, I slept 10 hours.
Wow.
So it was just amazing.
Well, and we were just talking before this, and you were talking about how, it was almost like you had a release of like, I can finally rest and have peace now, like that sense of freedom in a sense.
Freedom is a great word, yes. Freedom is exactly what I felt. And it was like I couldn't wait to get to the next one, but I was still nervous.
Yeah. So what you kind of shared about day one, was there any other kind of improvements during your time here that you really noticed right off the bat?
Yes, some very kind of emotional moments. of course, my daughter came with me, and she was a break from college, and so she wanted to go horseback riding. And so I was like, okay, well, I didn't know it was going to be on top of Cereset, Garden of the Gods mountains.
Yeah.
I was very nervous, but I wanted to do it for her. And when we got up there with no guardrails, no nothing, I looked up, and for the first time in my life, I didn't have anxiety. I was not panicked. I was actually just trusting something that was in front of me, and that was a horse, to lead and guide me. And on the way down the mountain, I just cried because I'd never had that much freedom in my life.
Oh my goodness. So like, what else were you feeling about that? Like, just, I know the sense of freedom and peace is just such it's amazing, but it's almost overwhelming in a sense, because if you haven't felt that in so long, it's a lot. When
you haven't felt it in so long, you're almost numb to it.
Yeah.
And so when you finally have something that you've been striving for so long, yes, it is, it's almost like, where have you been, you know, all of these years that I haven't found you?
Right. So you kind of almost rediscovered yourself in a way, a little bit, kind of like being able to feel that peace and feel that freedom.
External and internal feelings. I mean, just like someone had just took something that I had been holding in for so many years and took it off my body and took it out of my brain to be able to just relax and enjoy life and what life has in store for me.
Yeah, and what about the MS? So obviously the anxiety was relieved. Was there anything else kind of with that was relieved?
Yes, being able, having social anxiety, being able to be out into the public. I started noticing that I wanted to get out more, and I wasn't as panicked as I was before. But the difference from day 1 to day 5, getting on a plane at Christmas, and I was just determined I was going to do anything, and I was scared to death, even the whole trip here.
Yeah.
And then, you know, getting on the plane back, it was like the person that got on the plane is no longer the person that, you know, is leaving.
It's a different person.
It's absolutely a different person.
So you were afraid of flying.
I was afraid of anything in the public, because when you have that panic and PTSD, everything triggers you.
Yeah.
And so even from noise to sound to height to just turbulence, anything. But I was just so determined, and I was so desperate to find something to help me.
And it worked.
I'm here for the second time, so it definitely worked.
Yeah.
And it's going to be something that will be in my life for the rest of my life.
Yeah. And so was there anything else that you have not been able to do before? I know you've mentioned like the flying, you know, being in public more often, the anxiety. Was there anything else that you wanted to share about just anything about Cereset that was helpful?
Well, I think it's not only just for anxiety and PTSD and all the trauma that we hold in. I think it's more about finding something that balances us out instead of using medication that I had used in the past. And so that is just, you know, it needs to be known. And every woman that is going through, even if it's menopause, I mean, some of the symptoms that were not as bad anymore.
Right.
And just having a mind of clarity was just a huge, it was just a huge blessing.
Yeah, that's, I mean, I was telling you before we talked, like I personally have had an amazing experience with Cereset, because I had chronic fatigue, anxiety, you know, stress, extreme stress. Like I was not able to focus at work. I wasn't sleeping at all. I was waking up, you know, 15 times a night, and I wasn't just quite getting that restorative sleep, you know, that you need, and that to be able to get through the day. And, you know, my personal experience with Cereset was amazing. And you were just telling me that you had a friend that went through Cereset. And
yes, I've had several, and I have, you know, highly recommended it because it's just not publicized enough. And their response to it was immediate.
Yeah.
And, you know, hearing that and being able to bless someone that this, you know, helped me in so many areas of my life.
Yeah.
And it was just, you could not wait until the next one.
Yeah.
And it's just something, like I said, you know, that I will always have, that I will do the self-care for myself. And that's one of the best things that you can do.
Yeah, that's a huge point there, I think, the self-care aspect of it. Taking care of yourself, taking care of your brain so that, you know, your brain is balanced and you're able to function better as a person, as, you know, as a mom, as a wife, everything, you know, it's just very, very, very helpful overall. But what would you say to someone that is, you know, maybe thinking about Cereset, or maybe going through what what you've been through, MS, whatever that is, what would you say to that person that's like, I don't know, it's a big leap to kind of do something like that? What would you say to that person?
I would say definitely talk to someone who's been through it, but I would also say, if you want to find something that truly helps outside of the medicine world, that won't make you feel like you're not the person that you need to be, I would say yes. And I would do anything that I could to basically just to say, hey, give it a try. If it doesn't work for you, but you might not see immediate like I did. It might take a few weeks later down the road.
Yep, that's what I was saying with me.
And so doing that, always be objective to it. And I am anything that is willing to help me and help me balance out without having the overload of the side effects of other medications, absolutely I will do it.
Yeah, that's a huge point too, because medications have side effects.
Absolutely.
And they can really be impactful and harmful sometimes with the side effects. And for me, because I was taking certain things to help me through stuff, and it was just not good. And I think it really made things worse in some aspects, like maybe it improved one thing, but this other thing that I was struggling with, it made it worse, like sleep or something like that. So I think the holistic part of Cereset is so beneficial too, that they're really like, I didn't experience any negative side effects, and because it is a holistic way of helping your brain balance, it was kind of a no-brainer for me. You know what I mean? And that's like when I'm on the phone with people and they call in about Cereset and they ask, are there any side effects or anything like that? And I'm like, I never experienced anything. I've never known anyone to experience any side effects. Really, sometimes people are, kind of how you were telling me earlier, I was able to sleep for 10 hours for the first time, and it was restorative. So you might be able to sleep better, and that was really amazing for me personally. But
you were talking about side effects, and one of the things that really I noticed a difference was women, especially in their older ages, when they get a little bit older, they compensate like medication, antidepressants, anything like that, especially for panic anxiety disorder. And it can be weight gain. And that's one of the biggest things. And us as women, as we're growing older, that's one thing we don't have to worry about. And doing something like this and knowing that I don't have to worry about, am I gonna gain weight? Is it gonna take away or is it gonna increase my appetite? That's a huge major difference for me. And I think for women, it is a major difference because we are losing a little bit of ourselves as we grow older.
Yeah, and to add on to that too, I did Cereset when I was engaged, not married yet, and it was during COVID, and it was really, really stressful. But to add on to that, after I finished Cereset, it took me about 2 to 3 weeks to really experience the benefits of Cereset. It just took a little longer for me, but like I said, everyone's different. You experience benefits on the first day. But my energy levels heightened so much that, because like I was explaining about chronic fatigue, my energy levels heightened so much that I was able to work out and actually feel good about myself. And I lost like 12 to 15 pounds before the wedding. And it wasn't even hard. It was just about having that energy to actually go on walks, run on the treadmill, work out for 15 to 20 minutes. It doesn't have to be anything extreme, but just that small, energy can make a huge difference.
And it's about balancing. When you're balancing the brain out, how everything just seems to flow on its own.
Yeah.
And what a remarkable tool that can be. And like I said, without having the medication side effects.
Yeah. I wanted to thank you so much
Thank you for having me.
For joining us and sharing that, because I know a lot of people have these amazing testimonies, but they're not quite ready to share anything about it or anything like that. But I really appreciate you taking the time to share with us today. For those of you wanting to learn more about Cereset at Garden of the Gods here in Colorado Springs, you can call or text 719-644-5778. And I want to thank you guys for joining us, and we'll see you again next time.